Guess who's back? Back again. Ricardo back. Tell no one.
Losing my mind, trying to stay inside the lines. It's like you're running in place.
You know I had to do you like that. You know I had to. I gave you a poll with the pastry war, a real spicy war, an interesting war which I could cover. But no, you want noob tips, so suffer. Suffer. Why did I even make noob tips an option? I didn't think you'd vote for it. Anyways, noob tips in European War 6. First of all, you as the big boy noob open the game and they're confused because there's so many buttons. Actually there are 4, but there are so many buttons. Omega noob tip number 1. You click on settings, the little with no, but this is even more casual. You click on language, you choose your language. If you're South Korean, yes, this is South Korean European War 6, and I'm not gonna do the video like that, just not. Then settings, here in settings, you can put the game speed up. I advise you to keep game speed at maximum. Show grid is not really necessary. Music, I usually have it down, but yeah, I mean, you can put it on. So then you have 4 main game modes. I mean, basically 3 because multiplayer doesn't work, except if you're somebody close by. So what you want to do generally is first go on campaign as the Omega noob. You go on campaign. Then you as Omega noob will only have the US and Canada because you are such a noob you can't do anything yet. Sorry, that was a short trigger moment. Yeah. So you go on this thing and do the first campaign, and it's so easy. You don't have any generals, you have nothing, and you still should be able to do this. Oh wait, you after this you get some free generals, so you go here and you kick this general's ass. You just cannon him. You hit him with everything. It's not very hard. Then you go in here, buy yourself a grenadier, and then you win. A blind man wins this campaign. Just do it. Oh, this is such a trigger thing. Just do the first campaigns. You'll get free generals. When you do that, you get the mighty gods, which are called Jordan. You'll get the mightiest of them all, Clinton. Better than Carl, better than existence. With this man, no campaign will be an issue. What you still do is you don't use your medals yet. You try to grind the American campaign. Might get harder a little bit later on. There are a lot of YouTube videos on it. I think the Battle of Chesapeake causes some people trouble. I personally had quite a bit of trouble with the first Canadian mission. I don't know. Wait, was it the last one? Let me just quickly look. Was it the first or last? You know, the first one. I had quite a big issue with the first one. You don't need to hurry those. If you can do them, do them. If not, no hurry. So once you have this covered, you can then slowly start thinking about getting a general, because let's face it, generals are super important in this game. I'd advise you to get Mr. Massena or Carl as your first general. I guess Massena is like the best first general, I'd advise. Then Carl, then build up your roster. I made tons of videos on this. So many videos on which are the best generals. Follow these. And then you'll probably, after playing some campaign, having a general, maybe having 2 generals, you want to play Conquest. Now, these free Conquests, if you're a mega noob, don't touch them. They'll destroy you. You start with 1798. 1798, there are, for all different kinds of countries, which is very important for you as a noob, you can get a reward for a free A rank, brain cells. You get a reward for a 3-star country, a reward for a 2-star country, and a reward for a 1-star country. So here you have, for example, Portugal is a 1-star country, France is a 3-star country, Italy is a 2. Wait, Italy is a 1-star. Naples is a 2. What the hell? Italy is 1-star. I can't believe that. Naples is a 2-star. So what you want to do is you want to achieve a win with every country. Now, this little boy here gives you the ideal chance to start the Netherlands. You as a noob, I made a video on that as well. Basically, with Netherlands, you put your best general here, which is obviously Fals, the Navy General Infantry. Don't do that. Put your best general here, put Carl here. Just chill around your capital, don't do anything. Then, first thing you do is you go into the screen. You declare war on Sardinia. What you also can do is declare war on Naples. You can, because France also destroys them. I usually like to wait a little bit, not right to declare from the very beginning, but you can. It's like a 50-50. And then you just end your turn forever. End turn, skip, end turn, skip, end turn, skip, end turn, skip. And just pay attention that Amsterdam doesn't get invaded by the Brits. Sometimes it makes sense to build up, just put your guys here, put like a militia into here, and you'll do fine. Now, a next big tip. Let's say if if you did Netherlands, you would like to get a 2-star because the 1-star gives 300 medals and the 2-star gives 200 medals. So what you do, you choose Sweden or Denmark, because these two are very useful. Or yeah, Prussia is pretty easy. Let's say you choose Denmark. Now you noob don't know which units are good. You noob have no idea how this works. So first advice, don't really build ships, they're useless. Second advice, if you build units, infantry is very strong, especially for the beginning because it's cheap and it can be crafted in cities. Cavalry is a stronger unit, stronger but very expensive, so only build cavalry if you have generals for that. And artillery is quite a good range thing, but isn't as OP as it was in European War 4. So if you build units, you generally want to build militia as a defense unit. So if a city is getting swarmed by enemies, you put militias there. You always defend with militias because they're cheap, they do the job. Line infantry you basically actually never want to buy, they aren't as useful. Riflemen are good to close a distance, so because they have no mobility issues. So if you have like a city bombarded, you also should have a rifleman somewhere nearby. Just have like one, so you can take cities from afar. And what you also want to have, and that is the best unit in my opinion for infantry, is the grenadiers. Now the grenadiers are really useful because they do extra, they can build, that's not important, but they can do extra damage to fortresses and cities. And since cities and fortresses are so durable in this game, you want to have some extra damage. If you want to have if you have a mission where you have a very strong general, you build a elite light infantry because they are unit killers. They're really good. But there's also, you don't really need in Conquest, you need them in campaigns at times. So if you want to learn how to do the whole Scandinavia Wars thing, I again made like a jillion videos on that. Wait, one video, let's ignore it. Then you want to play a 3-star country, and generally in 1798 all of them are quite possible. Guess don't try as Austria, it's quite hard at the beginning. Let's say you want to start as, what should we say, Russia is always a good one, the Ottomans is always a good one. Let's say France. I'd advise you to do something else, okay? So again, here you might want to declare war on Sardinia to just kill them quickly. But you as a noob, now that you build your good units, now that you know what is useful, you'll have to continue winning. Another important mechanic is the encirclement, which if you encircle a unit, so if you have a unit let's say a unit is in the middle, you put one front and behind it, so that it's a straight line, and then that unit gets a drop of how should I call this? Just get a drop of every stat. Let's quickly do that again so I can show the comparison. I kind of screwed up there. Let's do a comparison. So you do this, set this cavalry around here. So this guy now has 43 attack, 20 defense, and yeah, HP will stay the same. And after this encirclement, you'll have 36 attack and still 20 defense. Okay, defense doesn't go down, but attack goes down, which is really useful. And if you encircle him with more than one unit, so if the guy is fully encircled, so you have to have a unit here, 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 and here, so every single tile, then that gets double penalty, so the attack goes even further down. And yeah, next thing is use your very obvious, use your units to their advantage. So ships, you don't go right next to the tile and attack a city. So let's say I declare war on Sardinia. You don't go right next to it, so you also take damage. That's pretty stupid. Okay, I was lucky now. You don't go next to a tile and cause your unit ship damage. You attack it from a distance. You range it. Smart, right? Same as artillery. You don't put artillery next to a unit which will hurt you. So for example, where's artillery? Okay, I don't have an artillery nearby. But if this would be an artillery, you don't attack from this here, you have this tile, you attack from this tile, attack here. Very obvious noob tip. So, now that you, Omega Noob, played some game and our games aren't as nooby anymore, you can choose to go on the challenge and try to do some challenges. So what's always useful is, If you click on challenge, every day you can do missions which give you free stuff. So let's say I do this mission, I get gold, medals and flowers, all very useful. Do these missions every time you log in. Next thing is the reduced generals. Generally there are two good generals from reduced generals, that is Lannes and Hood. You should do these missions anyway, every single one, because you get medals for doing these missions and you get a higher reduction for generals. So for example, migration is pretty cheap, but you want to maybe get Lannes or John, those are the really good ones. The other ones, Hood kind of is useful. Yeah, then you can do these mission type things which also give you medals, because if you then once get stuck with if you ever get stuck in the campaign or a conquest, you could do challenges. So it's always a bit of a, if you get stuck this place, try somewhere else, and then you try to level up a bit, and then you try to redo the missions. If you fail a mission once, it's not as big of an issue because you can redo them, and then you learn the patterns of a mission. Read the texts if you do campaigns. Let's say if you click on this American campaign, you start this one here, you can read the text when you start. It often tells you something about the starting situation. So here it is: the British army is unable to attack us, but their fortifications are much strong. Good English. We're surrounded by the enemy, our attacks, blah 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 blah. So you read this, and then you see, okay, the attack in the south is very important. Cooperate with your allies, attack from Savannah. Okay, this now wasn't a very important one, but sometimes they give you like information that certain nations go neutral if you attack, or this or that happens. Yeah, that's my greatest tip. Do campaigns, learn to conquest, buy the best. Oh wait, I didn't finish with my whole unit thing. I'm sorry, I forgot. That was not the whole infantry unit. Next, you want to look at artillery. Artillery, I usually don't buy any light or heavy artillery. I only go for siege artillery and rocket artillery. Rocket artillery has the advantage that it attacks 3 squares. So if this guy attacks, you'll hit these 3 squares, which is very nice. And the siege artillery just gives good damage. The big ones usually don't really bring you enough for what they cost. They aren't good enough. Next, for cavalry. Artillery, light cavalry useless, lancer useless. Heavy cavalry very good because it's strong against a lot of infantry. He has the good attack boosts and good defense. Heavy cavalry I always like to use. Muscle cavalry is okay. Armor car not really worth it. And then there's still a lot of special units. I covered that in another video. Yeah, oh, and obviously the ships, like I said, generally don't really buy those things. They aren't very useful. If you do, then maybe like ship of line possibly, or corvette. I never use them, they're kind of useless. Don't touch ships, they are mostly, sadly they're bad in the European War 6. Again, other tip for noobs, if you have to like say, let's quickly test this, I know we're good. So let's say this one, new policy in Cairo. There is one by heart. So you start off with Alexandria. Here, what you should do, if you have cities and you have a building slot, you click on the cities always, if you have to like defend the city. So you click on Alexandria, and then you often can place a princess, and these princesses are beasts. So for example here, Sofia decreases unit damage by 22%, which is very, very big. And you can use the military academy. I always tell you to build, use military academy. You can poison units, you can blast cities. He's very good, but don't forget the princesses, because I always forget them. Yeah. That's everything which right comes to mind. Watch some auto stuff if you want to grind. These should be the most rough noob tips. Is there anything I can still think of? Yeah, another noob tip, which is pretty obvious, is go on YouTube and watch some like your tutorials. Go on the forums. It can help you a lot. Sometimes what you stuff you don't think of, other people think of. I mean, my channel is obviously a very great place to find the best European War 6 things. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's about it. Overall, grind it, enjoy it, have a nice bye.
It's like you're running